Well, I am at the Windsor train station. Today I'm heading back to Toronto, but I've got some time on my hands. So I'm going to go to a place called Willstead Manor in a very nice neighborhood and find lunch at some point. And it's not that far, so this is my starting point. And I would have started an hour earlier, but when I came to the station, I asked about this process, checking my bag so I don't have to carry it around while I'm waiting for the train, go for lunch. And this woman said that they don't have that service available. We don't check bags, she said. So I double checked the website and it says that service is available. If you have a train leaving that day, you just have to show your boarding pass and they can put your bag in a safe and secure place. So you're not stuck at the station. So anyway, that service is available. I checked, is it available in Windsor? Yes, it's supposed to be available in Windsor. So after an hour waiting to talk to somebody through their 1-800 number, I did have somebody who said, yes, that should be available. And I said, well, is that staff discretion? Is it depending on the day or how they feel? And she said, well, try again. And she said, or you can send an email and complaint. So that wasn't really helpful. And then she said, but perhaps I can call them. And I said, oh, please do. And she said, but they might not pick up because they might be busy. And here I'm looking at them through the glass, and there's 3 of them not doing anything. So anyway, a few minutes later, she called or got me back on the line and said, yeah, go to the front desk. They're waiting for you. They're expecting you. That took me an hour. I know, I was happy to wait because I didn't have any fucking anything else to do. So, yeah, that was my Karen moment. And like that bag's like 25 pounds with stuff in it, right? Anyway, I won. So now I am going to go to Old Walkerville. Which is a really nice part of Windsor. It was built by Hiram Walker. Which has a factory basically right beside the train station. And he built a nice little community for the people who work at the distillery and wanted to create a neighborhood to be proud of. So there's lots of neat row houses that have turned into beautiful, expensive properties. And parts of Old Walkerville are just simply a great place for the well-heeled to live. So we'll see that. Now, it would have helped if Windsor had a direct line, and they most likely do, but I can't find it online. So that just forces you to go through the 1-800 number. Which takes forever. But again, since it wasn't a good idea for me to wander around with my bag, I was going to be stuck there anyway. And funny enough, the person who said that service was not available wasn't behind the counter when I went back. There we go. It's a weird series of lights here. This is Wyandotte and Monmouth, almost at Walker Road. So this is Monmouth Road. There's only pedestrian entry. After the end of this block. And we're going to come up on all these really neat row houses that were built. Hopefully they'll have a plaque or two so I can see exactly what the year of built is. That's a nice little barricade. And here they are. Okay, and here's a plaque. And City of Windsor designated site built in 1893. So that's cool. You can say your house was built in 1893. And so after I do these row houses, I'm going to go to Willstead Manor, which was a giant house, built 16th century style two-door mansion, built by a famous architect. They call the architect of Detroit. I think it's Shaw was his last name. And it was built by Hiram Walker's son. This is Cataraqui Street in Monmouth. Now across the street, very similar style buildings. I don't know if they are also the row houses or if they had to build them like this. Anyway, one of the nicest streets in Windsor. I like these old-timey pathways to the back. Hello. This looks like a modern structure made to look like it's old. I really like this person's efforts with their English garden. Well done. All right. Oh, you can see the backyards are quite spacious. And we're at the corner of Niagara and Monmouth. And my Google machine says that we'll be able to find Willstead Manor just up the street here. And Willstead Manor is a massive property. Every year they do this thing called Art in the Park, where the property is filled with hundreds of artists showing their wares. There are some massive properties here. And there's a tiny cemetery here. That is massive. Another two-door style. You call these mansions. I wonder if I can see a date on this gravestone. Probably faces the other way, but let's see. Well, William James Gee, born 1859, died in 1913. And Willstead Manor is on my left. And what do we have here? St. Mary's Church. I don't know what denomination this is. It's Christian, but I don't know what the denomination is. And crossing the street. Well, I'm going to be looking for plaques because I'm not an expert on this property. That's what plaques are for. Willstead. So, in memoriam, this park and buildings presented to the people of Walkerville in memory of E. Chandler Walker, the heirs of his devoted brothers Franklin Walker and J. Harrington Walker. Okay. And this is the gatehouse at Willstead Park. Well, and there she is. That's one big Mammy Jamie house. So let's walk around before we get close to it. Yeah, so this whole area will be filled with artists with tents and things for a weekend in August for art in the park. It's really a lot of fun. Good food. And here's another plaque. Willstead. Take thy leave if thou must, but please return. We hold in trust this house, this park, this place. It is thine, it is mine, it belongs to all. Apparently in the 60s, the city owning this property was tired of the upkeep and the expense, so they considered tearing it down. And then, preservationists, thank God for them, decided that's a dumb idea. So they stopped that idea. Look how these parking spaces are divided by brick. Anyway. Like, the scope of the size of this property is difficult to describe. I can't even see where it ends right now. Well, Windsor, Poet Laureate and Storytellers Program Space. Okay. Now, I don't know if this is open or has access or if there's a tour. Willstead Coach House, designated on the Ontario Heritage Act, City of Windsor, 1906. Nope, not open. You don't know unless you pull. Well, there we go. Coach House Historical Exhibit, July and December. Interesting. Private tours available by, I should have called. So there she is, Willstead Manor. Now I've been in this. I've been on the tour when it's been open during Art in the Park. It's a lot of fun to walk inside. See all the rooms. For catered events, that gatehouse, I believe that's where they actually do the cooking for the catered events here. Now it looks like it's garbage day here. Now that's interesting. So what we have here, a recycling box. So containers, plastic, stuff that's recycling, and this is just garbage. But both of them are seriously padlocked. Seems to be a theme here in Windsor. Downtown, I see junkies all over the place, riding bicycles, going through garbage, collecting bottles. Not any different from Toronto. It's usually older Chinese ladies. Both of them doing their part, as far as I'm concerned, to help recycle. But I guess that deters them from coming here. But this part of it open to the public. So, come here and have a picnic. Like, why not? I am going to go up this path. Calling this the most beautiful house in Windsor. Certainly the biggest. Like Windsor's Castle Loma, I guess. And it was home of a public library at one point. Great place to have a picnic, toss a frisbee, fool the football around. So there's Willstead Manor from this vantage point. Very nice. Let's go up and stick this Pocket 3 camera through the fence. You do good work, bud.
I hope so.
Yeah, it looks good.
Let this go a little too long than I like, but yeah. Makes it easier to pull up, I guess.
Yeah, it reminds me as a kid, my mom would always drag me to the garden and start pulling weeds.
Let's start it right now.
Yeah, all right. Have a nice
My dad
day.
was the same way. Have a good one.
Well, I'm going to go out the way I came. Now I have the wireless mic on. Really no need because it's not windy. And my experience is when I watch videos and I edit videos, a couple of things about myself annoy me. One, I have a smoker's cough. You know, I quit smoking years ago, but I still have like a cough, a smoker's cough. And I don't notice it so much until I'm editing a video and I try to get those coughs out of there because they just sound, to me, gross. And then the Pocket 3 mic tends to pick up my breathing. And I can't edit that out. I just love the trees, lots of trees in this neighborhood, big trees. I hear a daycare somewhere. So interesting, these big giant alleyways, of course, were for horses, right? Back in the day, a lot of that, my neighborhood, close out in Leslieville, you'll find that. A lot of properties had big spaces in between them for because your vehicle was a horse. Nice big corner lot there. Yeah, here we are. Lots of little minis. Well, we're not interested in the minis, we're interested in the houses. Number 888. Nicely done. I see a lot of these places have that ring doorbell thing. And they're kind of neat. You see some great TikToks of FedEx people delivering packages, doing nice things. And porch bandits doing bad things. And good, I see that up ahead there is a through street. So I'll be turning right there to get back to the really nice. Okay, so nice, interesting. Michigan plate says Water Winter Wonderland. I didn't know that Michigan plate said that. Here's the white. It's not white bread, it's wheat bread. Neat piece of artwork here. Nicely done, people. Look at that little garage business in the back there. Cool. Well done with your garden, wherever you are. I like that house with the old-timey staircase there. A lot of these places look like they would be gorgeous bed and breakfasts, or could be. So this is Argyle. No, it's not. It's Kildare. So let's walk along Kildare and we'll double back. And look at across the street. So the garage here is about the size of the house I grew up in Toronto. This is the corner of Cutterock Way and Kildare. And this one has a plaque. I'm going to go up there and look at the plaque. Ooh, 1904. Designated on the Ontario Treasury or Heritage Act. Neat. Yeah, look at that house. Massive. And that little tiny garage in the front. Look at this guy. Built of stone. It's called The Cobbles. Victor Williamson House, designated site, built in 1906. Cool. Just beautiful. Well, you need to cut your grass here, bud. And this one's property is so big, they have their boat also on their property. It's across the street. Here's that church. Okay, I see the entrance is on that side, so let's go that way. Now, this flag is not at half-mast, but I noticed a lot of them in Toronto, or sorry, a lot of them in here in Windsor. We're all at half-mast, and I don't know why. So, let's see, 1948, St. Mary's Gate. I'll have to use my Google machine and learn about that property, because it's huge. Well, you don't know if it's open until you try. So let's try. And I would say that's definitely not going to open. So I'm guessing I do not have access to the cemetery here. Okay, it's open Sundays from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Oh, I missed the cornerstone. The cornerstone doesn't really tell me anything. I'm not sure if those are Roman numerals or what, but it didn't look like Roman numerals that I recognized, so. You do know? Okay, there we go. Finally, I know. St. Mary's is an Anglican church. Okay. King Henry VIII, he is. Nice big bungalow here in this corner lot. But I do like this neighborhood. They're big buildings, but no cheap, crappy facades like you see in North York, Toronto. It's kind of built with plastic and just fake looking stuff. Another two-door style mansion. Look at the deck of that thing. This tour is going to come to an end pretty soon as I'm getting back to Wyandotte, and I think it's lunchtime. So this is the Foxley residence. So the Amber Isaacs Foxley, a designated site built in 1907. Neat. So a solarium below and a giant deck above. Cool. Yeah, if you grew up here, you're doing okay. Cataraqui and Devonshire is where I am. Yeah, streets could be in better condition given the neighborhood. In Toronto, I was lucky enough to grow up in the same street as the mayor, and that street was paved all the time. Look at the copper fixtures on that building that turn green. Nice house, nice manicured garden and front lawn. Well done. Nice big elm. Thank you for not cutting that down. Look at that. So 1712. No, 712. Devonshire for sale. I have to look my Google machine to see what that's going for. Now we're back in regular people land. Let's look at this last one little street. These also look like the row houses that we saw in Monmouth. Well, I see a plaque. Let's go look at plaques. City of Windsor, Hiram Walker and Sons, semi-detached house, designated site built in 1888. Cool. All right, and here we are at Wyandotte and Devonshire. I was here Sunday with my friend Carrie, and we wanted to have a bite to eat at the Twisted Apron. But you know, on a Sunday, that's not a good idea because there was a long meandering line that didn't seem to have any kind of flow to it. So we bailed on that and went to this Grand Cantina, which had a fantastic brunch. They only do brunch a couple days a week. And here's another designated site. So this is 606 Devonshire, built in 1922. And this is where I am going to end the site. And here we go. So there's Hiram Walker Sons Unlimited. That's where they're making their Wisers, your JP Wisers. And I'm off to the Twisted Apron for a bite. So thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the ether.